Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto was left for dead from being beaten by the Team 7 Council Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. The wave mission was underway and Team 7 was having a little trouble. The team was fighting the missing ninja Zabuza and his tool Haku. Kakashi was taking on the swordsman, Sakura was back protecting Tazuna and Naruto and Sasuke were fighting with Haku. Sasuke was currently unconscious from Senbon needles. The sound of chirping birds filled the air. Naruto turned to face the sound to take a Chidori through the chest from his sensei Kakashi. No! Haku yelled as Naruto's body was sent into a river. Who cares about some dead last? Kakashi asked coldly. He was holding Sasuke back. He was holding him back. Growled and angered Zabuza. He did much better than these twerps. They were the ones holding him back. Without another word Zabuza and Haku left. After a few minutes of silence Sakura burst out laughing. We finally got rid of that loser. Sasuke was still out cold so he couldn't react. Kakashi smiled under his mask. I have avenged you sensei, he thought. Tazuna was inwardly fuming. This so-called honorable team had betrayed one of its own. As the team left Tazuna silently paid respect to Naruto and prayed for his soul. Meanwhile, down the river Naruto's body floated downriver. As his body floated a large shadow was cast over the river and a large claw plucked him from the water. A large dragon flew through the sky. It had a thick body, large wings, a long neck, a long tail, and a mouth full of razor-sharp teeth. Its scales were a bright silver and its eyes were a deep gold. It had a deep scowl of anger on its face. It had witnessed the betrayal of the blonde boy by his team. What sickened him was that some humans were so ignorant that they killed what they thought wasn't human. What they call a monster. Bah! As it flew it glanced at Naruto who was currently gripped in his claw. It reached a decision. Later. The beast sat down and laid Naruto on its back. Its golden eyes shined as it looked at the boy. It saw the Kyuubi inside Naruto's body. It guessed that was the reason his team betrayed him and why his wound healed so fast. The dragon knew it had to act fast, so closing its eyes it turned to chakra and flew into Naruto's body, entering his mind. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto was fuming. Why? Why did they do it? He asked. Kyuubi still in his cage answered, they thought you were me boy. That is why everyone has tried to kill and hurt you over the years. They see you as a monster. Naruto was quiet, then he threw back his head and roared in rage. I'll make them pay, he roared. Kyuubi smirked. I can help you with that kit. How? Naruto asked interested. I can give you my chakra. Merge it with you. Make you the most powerful ninja in Fire Country. Naruto was thinking it over when there was a flash of silver chakra. Naruto and Kyuubi looked to see the silver dragon that saved his life. Don't take his offer boy. If you do you will be corrupted, the dragon spoke. Kyuubi snarled, the boy wants revenge. If he takes my power he will have it. The two continued to argue whether or not Naruto should take the power. That is until said boy had enough. Hey! He yelled, getting the attention of both monsters. I think we can reach a compromise, Naruto said in a much calmer voice. Both listened interested in what it was. Why don't you both merge your chakra with me? Both the creatures looked at each other as Naruto continued. That way I can get the power of two creatures and I won't be corrupted. It was quiet until the dragon broke the silence. He has a point. Kyuubi nodded and they both faced Naruto. Then the ceremony began. I Kyuubi king of beasts, bestow my power unto you Naruto Uzumaki. I Elion king of the dragons bestow my power unto you Naruto Uzumaki. Do you accept our power? I do, Naruto answered. As he answered Elion and Kyuubi each sent a blast of their chakra at him. Elion's gold, Kyuubi's red. As they hit Naruto lost consciousness. Later. Naruto groaned as he came to. He looked around to see he was in a cave. He saw a mirror on one side and decided to see if the new chakra had changed him. When he looked in the mirror, he jumped back in surprise. He was 2 inches taller, making him as tall as Sasuke. He was also slightly more muscular. He noticed his eyes had changed. They were still blue, but they had a line of silver around the iris and the pupil was slit. He looked down at his arms to find a red fox tattoo on his right arm and a silver dragon on his left. Naruto smiled at his new self, then realized his clothes were too tight. He looked around to see a new thing of clothes neatly folded. A black shirt with a fire symbol on the chest, black jean shorts and sandals. There was an orange vest with crimson fox and shining dragon stitched in kanji on the back. After he put on his new clothes, he left the cave. As he left the cave, he saw 2 swords crossed in the mouth of the cave. One was gold with a straight blade, a wide hilt that was curved upward on the sides, and a dragon head on the bottom of the handle. The second was red and straight like the first, only the hilt had 2 fang-shaped spikes coming out the top of the hilt. Naruto smirked and took hold of each one with the corresponding tattoo on his arms. As he did, he felt a sudden surge of power through his body. As the sensation faded and he placed the swords in a sheaths that appeared on his back, he laughed. "Get ready, you traitors," he said to no one in particular, "'cause it's payback time." With that said, he set off toward Wave at a speed that rivaled Might Guy. In Tazuna's village, Team 7 was currently training, or Sasuke was training and Sakura was just staring. Meanwhile, Naruto watched, annoyed that he was on a team of such idiots. Naruto was about to come out and get revenge when he saw something that caught his eye. He saw teams 8 and 10. What the heck are they doing here? He thought. They must be here for backup, said in Naruto's mind. Naruto growled angrily. This really makes things harder. Naruto, said Elion, I know a way to split them up and to get back your former team. Draw your swords and focus our chakra into them. Naruto did just that, and as it did, there was a flash. As it faded, Naruto saw 2 men holding the corresponding sword. The man holding Elion's sword was tall, pale, had white hair and piercing blue eyes. He wore all white and had Dragon King in kanji tattooed on his arm. The one holding Kyuubi's was almost twin to the other man, except he wore all black and had Beast Lord on his arm. Plus a long scar on his left eye. Naruto didn't need a degree to know who they were. Elion and Kyuubi. In the human flesh, said Elion. Elion and Kyuubi made their way over to the 2 training teams. The first one who noticed was Kiba, since he could smell them. Who are you? He growled at the 2 newcomers. They didn't answer. Kyuubi walked up to Kurenai and whispered something into her ear. Elion just looked at Kakashi. So you're the famous copy ninja, huh? He asked, getting a nod from said ninja. How disappointing. Kakashi just stared at him. What? You copied almost every technique in your arsenal. You're just a lazy fool who trains a worthless Uchiha. Hey, Sakura screeched. You can't talk about Sasuke like that. He's better than you 2 ever will be. Kyuubi glared at her. He's a spoiled brat with a god complex. The only one who actually had talent on this team was that blonde kid. Really? Kiba asked, hearing that part. Elion smirked. Yeah, he always held up a mask to hide his true strength. And he never really liked the pink banshee over there. The Hyuga girl had a special place in his heart. Hinata turned red hearing that Naruto had feelings for her. Kiba noticed this and silently growled, since he had a crush on Hinata ever since the academy. Ha! Sasuke laughed. That Dobi would never have been stronger than me. Kiba laughed too. Besides, even if that punk did live, he would never get Hinata. She's my girl. Hinata's eyes narrowed at that declaration, as did Kurenai. Shino's face remained stoic, but you could hear a slight buzzing. Meaning he was annoyed. Kyuubi smiled slightly. Well then, why don't you put your money where your mouth is? As soon as he said this, the 2 started to glow with chakra. Soon they both turned to chakra completely and flew into the sky, swords in tow. The 2 converged in the sky on a figure which flew down at them. As it landed, it formed a massive crater. As the smoke cleared, it revealed a figure some of them never thought they would see again. Naruto. Hinata yelled out as she ran up and hugged him tight. Upon realizing what she was doing, she let go, blushing extremely. The blush only got worse as Naruto hugged her. Unfortunately, Kiba had to ruin the moment. Get off of my Hinata. He growled, charging only to run into a wall of bugs. Naruto smiled. Thank you, Shino. You're welcome. How are you alive? Asked a shocked and slightly nervous Kakashi. I had help, Naruto answered. Sasuke was eyeing his swords. Where did you get those swords, Dobi? None of your business. The answer of course got Sakura angry. How dare you not tell him? He's better than you, Baka, so tell him. Naruto looked her in the eyes and, to everyone's surprise, punched her right in the face. Naruto looked at the setting sun. So, what's for dinner? Later, the teams, Naruto, and a still unconscious Sakura arrived at Tazuna's house. They were met with the sight of Tsunami, Tazuna's daughter, cooking some really good-looking stuff. She noticed Naruto. Oh, who is this? She asked in a sweet voice. Naruto held out his hand. Naruto Uzumaki. Nice to meet you. Tsunami shook his hand. At this time Tazuna walked in. As soon as he saw Naruto, he freaked out. Ghost. He screamed. Tsunami stared at her father. What do you mean, Dad? That kid was the one that the silver-haired guy's team betrayed and killed. Almost instantly all eyes were on Kakashi and his team, who were sweating bullets. Kurenai had fire in her eyes. You are so dead when we get back to Konoha. She growled. After things calmed down and everyone had gotten the explanation of how Naruto was betrayed, killed and had been healed, they sat down to eat and a small boy in a fisherman's hat joined them. They all sat and ate in silence until the boy decided to speak up. Why do you try so hard? He asked. Everyone stared at him. You just come in here without a scratch on you and we've been suffering all our lives. Why don't you just leave now? Inari. Gasped Tsunami. Kid, Naruto said slowly, you don't know the meaning of pain. I don't know pain. Inari asked. I don't know pain. My entire life has been pain. That demon Gato forced this suffering on all our lives. You don't act. Naruto had had enough of the little kid and was currently lifting him up by the throat. He stared into Inari's eyes, his own turning a deep red. You know nothing of demons or suffering, boy. Naruto said in a dark voice. He dropped Inari to the floor and stormed out the door. Everyone was surprised. Naruto had never really had a bad temper before. What was that about? Asked Inari as he got up. Kakashi sighed. I guess you should know. He told them of Naruto's life. How he was treated, and what the people of the village did to him. When he was done, he looked around to see the reactions. Hinata, Kurenai, and Tsunami were crying, and the guys all looked angry. Except Shino, who had a stoic expression on his face but a tear running down his cheek. The only one not reacting was Sasuke. Sakura, however, broke out laughing. Like anyone cares about that loser. He got everything he deserved. She laughed maniacally. She suddenly stopped as she felt a large amount of killing intent directed at her from everyone except Sasuke. Sensei, why are you mad? She asked her angered sensei. Because, he answered, I've thought about it. If he really was the monster that the villagers kept saying he was whenever they beat him, the village would have been destroyed by now. But you betrayed him, said a surprised Tazuna. Kakashi hung his head in shame. One of the council members paid me to kill him on the mission. I needed the money, so I didn't have a choice. I'd apologize to him, but I don't think he'll listen. I could, said a voice. Everyone turned to see Naruto in the doorway smiling. And I do forgive you, Kakashi-sensei, he said, holding out his hand. Kakashi smiled and shook it. Well, Kakashi said, getting up, get to bed everyone, tomorrow we continue training. Naruto woke up the next morning feeling refreshed and having a good feeling. He walked downstairs to see the others had left. Darn, how late did I sleep in? He asked. A few hours, Tsunami answered. Naruto washed up, grabbed his clothes and vamoosed. He found the teams in a field a mile from the bridge Tazuna was building. When everyone saw him, he saw some were a little annoyed. Sakura, however, just walked up and started screaming. You idiot! She screeched. What the heck took you so long? You made Sasuke waste time waiting for you. She drew back her arm and slammed her fist into his jaw. She turned satisfied when she felt a strong hand on her shoulder. It spun her around just in time for Naruto to slam his fist into her face. The force of the blow sent her flying. She broke through a few trees and splashed down into the lake. Naruto smiled slightly and walked up to his sensei. Sensei, I'm going to have to leave for a while, he said, shocking everyone. Sasuke smirked. What, lose your nerve, loser? He laughed arrogantly but shut up when Naruto sent a wave of killing intent at him. Why do you have to go, Naruto? Asked Kakashi. Let's just say, there's going to be a family reunion. Naruto answered as he turned and left. Kakashi had a feeling he was going to be hurting when he got back. He turned to Kiba. Get Sakura out of the lake, he ordered. Meanwhile, Naruto was running like heck toward his destination. As he did, he was talking to Elion. Are you sure this is where I'm going to find my parents? He mentally asked as he ran. Yes, answered the dragon, your parents are at a hospital a few miles from here. All right. Watch out, Mom and Dad, here I come. 30 minutes later. Naruto skidded to a stop in front of a hospital. Oh great. It had to be a hospital. He mentally complained. Since a lot of the doctors at the hospital in Konoha had tried to poison him or let him die, he had a fear of them. Naruto walked up to the desk in front and rang the service bell. A young woman in a nurse's outfit came out. Yes, she asked in a sweet voice. I'm here to see about 2 patients you have here, he answered. Who? She asked. A woman with long red hair and a man with spiky yellow hair. The nurse checked the files. Room 201. Naruto went up the elevator and down the hall until he found the room. He walked in to see a woman with fiery red hair and a man with spiky yellow hair. The woman's chart had the name Kushina Uzumaki and man's had Minato Namikaze. Naruto smirked and drew his swords. Perfect healing jutsu. Piercing sun. He fired a bright glow at the two. As the glow faded, the two started to wake up. Kushina got up and looked at Naruto. Naruto? She asked in a shaking voice. Naruto nodded. She shot out of bed and nearly crushed him in a tight hug. Naruto, my baby boy. Naruto was trying to get his mom off before he lost consciousness from lack of air. Minato had woken up a few minutes ago and looked at his son. Good to see you, son, he said, smiling. Kushina let go and smiled. So what brings you here? She asked. Naruto told them about the mission he was on. How his team betrayed him but how Kakashi had tried to make things right. Minato was angry but he was willing to forgive him. Unfortunately, his wife was going to beat him into the ground when he got a hold of him. He also told them about the Kyuubi and Elion. Both were in shock that their son had such power. After that, Naruto left so they could get dressed and leave. When they came out, Minato had on long black jeans, and orange shirt with a white trench coat with red flames. Kushina had tight Anbu pants and a loose shirt that showed off nothing. As they left, Minato asked something that had been on his mind. So Naruto, how has the village treated you? Naruto looked at his dad. Dad, you intended for the village to treat me as a hero, right? Minato nodded. I've had more beatings than a naughty child, more attempts on my life than a politician, and the list goes on. Minato scowled and Kushina looked ready to go berserk on the next person that looked at her. When they calmed down, they headed back for Tazuna's village. A few hours later, the family entered the village and headed for Taswana's house. When they got there, they found the door broken in. They rushed inside to see Tsunami and Inari on the floor at sword point by 2 thugs. Back off or the girl and the brat die, said the first. The second just stared. Naruto walked forward. The thug raised his sword but he didn't get a chance to bring it down since Minato had appeared behind him in a flash of gold and brought his heel down on his skull. The second was pinned to the wall by a flurry of kunai from Kushina. What are you doing here? Naruto asked in a menacing voice. were sent her by Gato to use the bridge builder's kit and grandson as bargaining chips, he said in a visibly shaken voice. Naruto knocked him out by bashing his head with the side of his sword. Then he shot out of the room toward the bridge. Minato laughed. Ha ha ha. That's my boy. Then he shot out along with his wife after their son. At the bridge, the teams had seen better days. They were currently surrounded by thick mist courtesy of Zabuza. Sakura, Hinata and Shino were all guarding Tazuna. Actually, Hinata and Shino were guarding him. Sakura had abandoned her post and was currently outside a dome of ice mirror Haku made begging Sasuke to be safe. Typical. In the dome Sasuke was having trouble standing. Kiba was unconscious next to him filled with Senbon needles. Sasuke used him as a human shield to protect himself. Haku was extremely disappointed at that. Zabuza was going 1-on-2 with Kakashi and Kurenai. The mist was keeping Kakashi from using his Sharingan and Kurenai from using her Genjutsu. As all hope seemed lost, two figures entered the mist. One went to the dome of ice mirrors and shattered each one, and when Haku came out knocked her out cold. The second figure drove towards Zabuza and beat him like a drum. Kakashi could have sworn he'd seen them somewhere before. So the old swordsman failed, huh? Said a new voice. Those who were conscious turned to see a short old man in a tux with a cane with an army of thugs behind him. Guess you can't hire good help these days. Kill them but keep the girls around. They look like they could be fun. Almost as soon as he said that, a voice yelled, "Dragon style, burning dragon." As the voice faded, a large dragon made entirely of golden flames appeared. It swooped down on the mercenaries. When the flames faded, there weren't even ashes left. At that moment the mist faded and everyone who was awake gasped in shock. Naruto stood with one of his sword alit with gold fire with the thought deceased fourth Hokage and his wife. Sensei. Kakashi got out in a visibly shaken voice. Kakashi, said Minato, I'd run if I were you. Kakashi gulped when he saw the look in Kushina's eyes. He gulped and ran for his life with the enraged woman hot on his heels. Naruto laughed at his sensei's retreating form. After that, the remaining members picked up the unconscious and went back to Tazuna's house while said man worked on the bridge. As they left, though, a certain Uchiha was thinking. Such power. Only an Uchiha deserves that power. I'll get it from him. And if I can't, I'll get that man and woman to train me. Naruto and the rest of the teams were at Tazuna's house resting up and healing. Kakashi more so since he suffered a beating at the hands of an angry mother. They had just finished healing when Kakashi had decided to talk to his sensei. Sensei. Yes, Kakashi, said Minato. Kakashi hung his head. Can you forgive me? Minato was silent. Why did you do it? I was paid by one of the council members to kill him on this mission. After I did, I felt an incredible guilt on my heart. Around that time I realized the mistake I made when I did. All I could do was pray for my soul and hope that Kami would have mercy on my soul. Kakashi, Minato said after a few moments of silence. Yes, you are forgiven. Meanwhile, a revived Haku and Zabuza were waking up to find themselves on a couch and under the eye of the blonde kid. You. Zabuza yelled out in surprise, but how the copy ninja killed you? Naruto chuckled. I had some help from some powerful. What do you want? Asked a slightly unnerved Haku. I you to come back with us. Join the Hidden Leaf Village and become ninja there. Leave behind this lifestyle. Both of them were shocked. They were being offered a new home and a chance to live in peace. They accepted eagerly. Naruto smiled as he left. That is until he ran into a certain emo punk and a pink-haired banshee. Dobi, Sasuke ordered, give me your power now. Not happening, Tem. He answered. What? Sakura screamed. Why won't you give him that power? He deserves it more than you do, you baka. She shot her fist forward to hit him in the face only for him to catch it and then lift her into the air and smash her head into the wall. Naruto faced the Uchiha, his eyes glowing red. You won't get this power. He growled, making Sasuke move slowly away. The next day, The teams along with the missing nin were starting home. As they crossed the bridge home, Minato caught sight of a plaque that read, "Inspired by the one who returned hope to this place. The Great Naruto Bridge." They all walked toward home till they reached the gate to Konoha. The guard at the gate were going to stop them to get Haku and Zabuza, but they stopped dead when they saw Minato and Kushina. They made their way through the village, getting stares from everyone who were shocked to see missing ninja in the village and to see the fourth alive. They reached the Hokage's office and the old man was shocked to see Minato alive. "Minato, glad to see you, Ak." He started but was picked up by an angry father. "You said he would be safe," growled the thought-dead Hokage. Minato, I tried to do something but I couldn't. The council had my hands behind my back. Even if I did, the civilian council found ways to secretly hurt him. That and they managed to overthrow every time one of the shinobi clans tried to adopt him. The old man managed to get out despite being choked. Minato set him down. "I have an offer to make you," he said to the old man. Meanwhile, Naruto was at the training field with his mom, who was teaching him some two swords techniques. Naruto was getting the hang of it when a certain Uchiha showed up. "What do you want now, Tem?" Naruto asked, annoyed. "That power and those swords," he answered. "You're not having either." Sasuke rushed forward. "Then I'll take them." He nearly reached Naruto when said boy brought his knee into Sasuke's stomach, knocking him into the air. Naruto got in a peculiar taijutsu stance. Dragon Fist style. Dragon Crusher. Naruto vanished and then reappeared above Sasuke. He slammed his fist into Sasuke's gut. He dove down covered in silver chakra and smashed down on Sasuke. Naruto stood over his enemy, a victorious smile on his lips. "Now that was youthful," yelled a deep voice. Naruto and his mother, who had witnessed the fight, turned to see a large man with a bowl cut, round eyes, huge eyebrows, a green jumpsuit with orange leg warmers and a Chunin vest. "Who are you?" Naruto asked, very freaked out. "I am the Leaf's leading taijutsu specialist, Might Guy," he yelled, smiling, revealing a mouthful of white teeth that shone brightly. "Now I must know, what was that style?" "Oh, I call it the Dragon Fist style," Naruto answered. Guy smiled. "Then I would like you to test that style against one of my students sometime. Do you accept?" "Yes." "Then I look forward to your battle." With that said, the odd man left. Later on that day, an Anbu agent came saying that he was summoned by the council. Naruto knew this had something to do with Sasuke. Naruto arrived at the council chamber to see the Hokage's chair turned around. He also saw the rest of Team 7 and 8 along with Haku and Zabuza. "What have you done, brat?" growled a civilian councilman. "You beat the great Uchiha with incredible power. Power you do not deserve." Naruto narrowed his eyes. "No," he growled. "Then we will." "Silence," yelled a voice no one recognized from behind the Hokage's seat. "Sarutobi?" asked a pink-haired councilwoman. "He's not here." The chair turned around to reveal Minato. "How?" asked Danzo aloud. "I woke up from a coma," the man answered. The pink-haired woman got up. "Great. Now you can finally help us kill that demon." "Big mistake." Minato appeared in front of her and lifted her up off the floor. Then he slammed her head into the floor. Minato looked at the shocked council. "Now, as of today, I am Hokage again. As my first act, all civil clans are no longer part of the council. The advisors will be replaced by more level-headed ones, and Danzo, you're fired." The council was in uproar. Minato called Anbu and had them dragged out. Now that that's out of the way, turns to Haku and Zabuza. "I hear you want to join the village. What do you have to offer?" Zabuza stepped up. "I can be a teacher in Kenjutsu and I can teach the new swordsman the silent killing technique. My daughter Haku has a bloodline that gives her the ability to manipulate ice." The remaining council was intrigued. The ice ability could come in handy, and so would a swordsmanship teacher. Minato made Haku a Chunin and Zabuza a Junin. Now on to more pressing matters. "Anbu, bring them in." As he said this, 4 newcomers came in. One was platinum blonde with blue eyes and had a purple top and skirt. The second was a chubby boy with brow hair and swirls on his cheeks. The third tall in gray and had black hair tied in wolf tail. The fourth was a man in a Chunin vest with black hair and a cigarette in his mouth. Team 10 had shown up. Ino upon seeing Sasuke threw her arms around him. "Back off Ino pig, he's mine." Sakura screamed. "How troublesome," said Shikamaru. "So where's Naruto? I heard he changed over the mission." "You got that right," said Naruto. They all turned and stared at the new Naruto. Ino seemed to be lost in his silver-lined eyes. "And Naruto," she stuttered as she took in his new look. Naruto raised an eyebrow. "You okay, Ino?" Ino then threw her arms around Naruto's neck and kissed his cheek. The results were different. Almost everyone in the room were shocked except Inoichi, Ino's dad, who was glad his daughter was no longer after the Uchiha brat. Hinata looked ready to explode in jealousy. Minato cleared his throat. "Now then, due to an incident on the mission to Wave Country, new teams will be formed. Hinata and Ino will be taking Sasuke and Sakura's places on Team 7. They will be taught by my wife Kushina since Kakashi retired this afternoon. Sakura will be with Shikamaru and Choji, and Sasuke will be with Kiba and Shino." "Agreed." Dismissed. With that, Naruto brought up a swirl of gold fire and vanished along with his new teammates. This made Sasuke mad, of course. He swore that he would get that power even if he had to beat it out of him. At one of the training grounds, Kushina was waiting for her new team of students. She had been waiting for a few minutes when she was approached by a familiar figure. "Hello, guy," she said nonchalantly. "Hello, Kushina," he replied. "Who are you waiting for?" "My team," she answered. "Oh, then I will get mine. I wish for them to see each other." With that said, he took off. Only a few seconds after he left did a plume of golden fire appear. It dispersed to reveal Naruto, Ino and Hinata. The two girls looked a little dizzy. "Naruto, what was that?" asked a shaky Ino. "A shushin of a different kind," he answered. "Warn us next time," said Hinata as she found her legs. "Glad to see you're all here," Kushina said, getting everyone's attention. Hinata and Ino were staring at one of the strongest kunoichi ever. Just then Guy returned with a tall boy with Hyuga eyes and long hair, a girl in a pink shirt and hair tied up in buns, and a boy who looked almost exactly like him only without the Chunin vest. "Good to see you," he yelled in a loud voice. Everyone was shocked at the sight of the strange man. Guy looked everyone over until he saw Naruto. You're that boy with the strange taijutsu." Naruto grinned. "Yep. So you said you wanted me to fight one of your students?" "Yes, I did." Lee, the boy who looked like Guy, jumped down in front of him. "Yes, Guy-sensei," he asked. "I want you to fight this boy," he answered. Lee surveyed his opponent and got in a taijutsu stance. Naruto drew his swords and sank them into the ground. The girl was looking at them with unhidden interest. Since she was the daughter of a weapons shop owner, she had a thing for weapons. Naruto got into a stance of his own. "This fight is just to see what you can do," said Lee, hoping that this wouldn't invoke any hard feeling in his new friend. "Right," answered Naruto. The two shot at each other. Lee threw a punch, but Naruto blocked it and gripping the wrist threw him like a rag doll. Naruto got into stance, Dragon Claw style, Dragon Barrage. Naruto took off and uppercut Lee into the air. Naruto then formed shadow clones and flew up in the air. As they flew above them, they covered themselves in silver chakra. They drove downward and each slammed a fist into Lee's gut. The force of the blows sent Lee into the ground, forming a crater. As the smoke cleared, Lee was found out cold. Lee's team was shocked. This kid had just beaten one of their best members in less than 2 minutes. "Well," Guy said, breaking the silence, "Naruto wins." Hinata and Ino had hearts in their eyes and Kushina had a look of pride. Naruto grabbed his swords and put them in their sheaths. At this moment the girl in pink came up to him. "Hi, I'm 1010. Naruto. I was wondering, where did you get those swords?" she asked. "They were given to me by friends," Naruto said honestly. The other Hyuga was looking at Hinata with a look of contempt in his eyes. Naruto noticed this and sent a glare of his own at him. As Guy and his team left, Naruto faced his two teammates. Okay, let's get down to the chase, he said, taking out his swords. Who is starting first? I'll go first, said Hinata. With that, the training got underway. Meanwhile, at another training ground, Minato was seeing if he was weak after being in a coma for 12 years. He formed a Rasengan and slammed it into a dummy. He was surprised when the dummy was sent flying back and smashed through the forest before a sudden stop when it hit a mountain. Apparently, when Naruto woke me and my wife up, he made us stronger, he thought. Very impressive. Minato turned to see some of the clan leaders of Konoha. Inoichi, Tsume, Mr. Nagarashi, and Hiashi. Minato looked at his old friends. I take it this isn't for a reunion, he said. No, Tsume said. At that moment, Sasuke showed up with Sakura at his heel. No surprise. Not now, kid, this is a grown-up matter. Minato said, obviously not in the mood for this little twerp. Sasuke just ignored him. I want you to teach me your secrets, he said. What? All the clan heads yelled. Kid, that is not going to happen in this or any other lifetime, said an obviously angered Hiashi. You have no choice. I'm an Uchiha, an elite. I deserve such secrets, he said arrogantly, with Sakura agreeing. He turned to Minato. Make them teach me, and when they are done you will. Minato stormed up to him and lifted him up by the collar and looked angrily into his eyes. You won't be getting anything from them. The only reason you had pull before was because of the civilian council. With it gone, you are nothing. He growled. Don't you know who I am? Sasuke asked him in an angry voice that said he was angry that he was being refused what he wanted. No, and I don't care, he yelled, slamming his fist into Sasuke's ribs, cracking them. Now, growled, lifting him up again. Get yourself to the hospital to get those looked at, or better yet, forms a Rasengan in his palm. Let me help you. He slammed the Rasengan into Sasuke's chest and sent him flying like a rag doll across the village and into the wall of the hospital. Sakura ran off in hot pursuit of her love. What a pain. I take it this isn't the first time he did this, he said, looking at the clan heads. No, said Inoichi, he been wanting us to teach him our clan secrets. He's even ordered us to give him our daughter so he can revive his clan. So why do you want to see me? Minato, we wish to offer your son, Naruto, our daughters in marriage, said Tsume. What? Mr. Nagarashi, Tenten's dad, never learned his first name, calmed Minato down. It's only going to happen when he's old enough to marry. He will have to get to know his new brides, of course. Minato was quiet for a while. I'll ask him about it. The clan leaders left on that note. Naruto, your life just got complicated, he thought once they were gone. Naruto was heading home to his apartment when he found a small note from his dad. Naruto, meet me at the Namikaze compound, we need to talk. Love. Dad. Naruto put the note up and sped toward the clan district. When he got there, his jaw nearly came dislocated. The place was huge. It had a large courtyard with a massive mansion in the back. He could see a garden, a bathhouse, a dojo, and a whole bunch of other buildings. The gate in front of the courtyard was tall and made of cast iron. It had the Namikaze symbol in the middle of the door. Naruto walked inside of the building and found his dad sitting at the table. What's going on, Pop? He asked, seeing a troubled look on his face. Naruto, I need to talk to you about something. His dad sat down and listened. We both know that because of the Clan Restoration Act you are entitled to a harem. However, you are going to have to choose your future bride sooner than I hoped you would have to. Naruto stared at his father. Why? Sasuke Uchiha. He's been making demands of the clan heads. Demands that he learn their clan secrets and have their daughters. Naruto bristled. He wants what? Naruto, Minato said, there is one way to save them from becoming his slaves. You marry them. Naruto was quiet for a moment. Meanwhile, multiple ninja ran through the village. They were dressed as Anbu, but they had the kanji for root on their masks. They each had a sack on their shoulders. All 5 of them had done their job. At this time a 6th showed up. What is that? the leader of the group said regarding a sack on his shoulder. Another one that may prove useful to the great Uchiha, answered the newcomer. They were about to leave when the clan heads, a team of Anbu along with Guy and Kurenai showed up. The Anbu leader stepped up. You are under arrest for the crime of stealing from the clans of Konoha, he stated. Oh, I don't think so, said the leader smugly. He and his associates opened the sacks to reveal the daughters of the clan heads plus blonde woman with a Suna headband. They heard a dark chuckling and followed the sound to see Danzo and Sasuke. Those girls are mine now, Sasuke said smirking. You won't touch my children, growled an obviously enraged Hiashi Hyuga. The Root laid the girls down and looked ready to fight while Danzon took the bandages of his head to reveal the Sharingan in his left eye and Sasuke activated his Sharingan. They were all ready to brawl when Kitsune style. Burning Fox Pack. As the words faded, 6 large foxes made completely of fire came out of nowhere and scorched the Root members. On a plus note, the heat from the jutsu woke the hostages up. My men, yelled Danzo. When the smoke cleared, Naruto and Minato stood in the middle of the two groups. You, Sasuke growled at Naruto. Yeah, now if you don't mind, leave my future wives and the girl from Suna. Naruto said slowly. In your dreams. They're mine now, so why don't you hand them over and those swords? No. Then we'll take them, roared Danzo as he and Sasuke charged at him. Minato got in the way and punched Danzo in the face, sending him flying, and jumped after him. Sasuke charged at Naruto. Naruto lazily blocked each move Sasuke threw at him. Naruto hit Sasuke in the stomach, sending him back a little ways. Sasuke growled and went through hand signs, fire style, fireball jutsu. He sent a massive fireball at Naruto, who just stood in front of the blast. Sasuke laughed, thinking he had won when he was grabbed by the shoulder. He turned around just in time to see Naruto throw him over his shoulder and into the streets. Meanwhile, Danzo had seen better days. He was currently beaten up and he could barely stand. He had expected Minato to be weak after being out of commission for so long, but he had only grown stronger. Minato currently had him lifted up off the ground and was forming a Rasengan in his hand. This time though, he held it over his head. It flattened out and formed a large shuriken. Rasenshuriken. The move collided with Danzo's body and pretty much obliterated him. That's one less headache to deal with around here, he thought. Then he turned around and ran to the village. At the village, Sasuke was being thrown around like a doll. He was racked with pain and he couldn't hardly stand. Naruto walked slowly toward him. The fight had woken up some of the villagers and some were shocked that the class Dobi was beating up a prodigy. You can't beat me, Sasuke panted. Naruto just drew back his fist. Dragon style, Dragon Fist. Think Dragon Fist from Dragon Ball GT, only silver. Naruto's fist glowed a bright silver before it released a Chinese dragon made entirely of silver chakra. The attack collided with Sasuke's body and he screamed in pain. Sasuke's body fell limp and he lost consciousness. One of the villagers growled, "How dare you strike the great Uchiha?" He rushed forward until Minato appeared in front of him. Some of the villagers grinned, thinking the demon would finally be executed. Minato glared at the man, then he picked the man up and throwing him into a nearby wall. The villagers stared, not believing that the demon of Konoha was just saved by their hero. Ignoring the stares of shocked onlookers, the two teleported. They appeared back on the hill where they found everyone waiting. Except the Suna girl. She left because her sensei came for her. So Naruto, Ino said, what was that about us being your future wives? Oh boy, Naruto thought. A few days later, Naruto smiled broadly. He was currently walking hand in hand with Hinata toward the tower where the first part of Chunin exams would be held. He had talked to the girls about how their parents wanted to protect them from Sasuke by betrothing them to him. To his surprise, they accepted. With Danzo dead and the civilian council gone, they didn't have to worry about being kidnapped in their sleep. Naruto finally could see a bright future ahead of him. Naruto and his team arrived at the tower and went inside. They found two guys who were a test to weed out weak genin. Naruto managed to unveil them and everyone got in on time. He and the rest of the teams were waiting for the first exam to start when Kiba came over after seeing him holding hands with Hinata. "What are you doing with Hinata dead last?" he growled. "Didn't you hear?" Naruto asked. "Hinata's going to be my wife." Kiba growled. He still thought that Hinata was his. Naruto thought, "Wait till he finds out I'm marrying his sister." Kiba was about to do something when someone walked up. He had glasses, silver hair, and a white shirt with a purple sleeveless over it. "You shouldn't make such a scene," he said. "And who are you?" Kiba asked. "The name's Kabuto," he answered. At that moment the Shino and a banged-up Sasuke showed up. Naruto was wondering how he healed so fast. He figured it was an Uchiha-loving nurse at the hospital. Kabuto continued, "I have info on just about every ninja here. They come from a lot of villages. The newest ones are from the Hidden Sound village. They are relatively new. Probably a bunch of weaklings." 3 sets of eyes narrowed at Kabuto. "I want information on some people," Sasuke said. "Rock Lee, Gaara of the desert, and Naruto Uzumaki." Kabuto took out 3 cards from his back pocket. Rock Lee, he read, specialty is taijutsu, suffers from a medical condition that keeps him from molding chakra correctly, has been on some D-ranked and C-ranked missions. He pulled out the second card. Gaara of the desert. Not much here. Says he's from the Hidden Sand village and he's been on some A-ranked missions and didn't get a scratch. Naruto was surprised when he heard this. He looked around until he saw a team from Suna. He recognized the girl and saw she was with a guy with purple war paint on his face, black clothes and a bandaged sack on his back. There also was a guy in red and brown with red hair, bags under his eyes, love in kanji over his eye, and a gourd on his back. Naruto felt something in him. He sensed the Aikibi in his body but someone else as well. He'd have to look at that later. As Kabuto looked at Naruto's card, the image of a golden dragon and a red fox appeared and it burst into red and gold flames. "What happened?" Sasuke growled, losing his chance to learn about Naruto. "I don't know," Kabuto answered truthfully, "but he must have had some pretty intense stuff to do that to his card." At that moment Naruto sensed something. 3 ninja were heading toward Kabuto. One was completely bandaged except for one of his eyes with a purple long-sleeve shirt that covered his arms completely. The second had spiky hair and a yellow shirt over a long black sleeved. The third was a girl with long black hair. Each of them had a headband that had a musical note on it. They were from the Sound Village. Naruto jumped in the way to keep the bandaged one from punching Kabuto. He caught his wrist just in time and flung him across the room. The spiky-haired one took out a kunai and tried to throw it, but Naruto kicked it out of his hand and punched him in the face. The girl tried reaching for something, but Naruto drew both his swords and crossed them in front of her throat, stopping her cold. Everyone in the room froze. This kid had just stopped 3 ninja without even breaking a sweat. "Back off," Naruto growled, sending a chill down the girl's spine. "Oh, and Kabuto, that information you gave Sasuke is confidential. You're lucky I don't report you." The rest of the ninja stared. Some of the girls in the room had stars in their eyes since Naruto was exceptionally handsome to them. Even the Sound girl stared. Gaara had an interested look on his face. The other 2 shivered. They knew once you got his attention it was a bad thing. The bandaged Sound nin got up. "Who are you?" he asked, slightly scared. "Naruto Uzumaki. And let me tell you, all of you, if you mess with someone from my village, sword ignite with gold and red fire, you'll regret it." Naruto noticed a bit of black flame in the middle of the gold and red. He'd ask the fox and dragon about that later. Then there was a large plume of smoke. A man in a black trench coat and a leaf village headband appeared. "All right, you maggots. My name is Ibiki Moroni. I'm the proctor for the first part of the Chunin exams. So shut up and get moving," he yelled, obviously trying to get everyone moved along. The teams all filed into a room with a chalkboard and a desk at the front of the room. Everyone took a seat and waited for the proctor to start. The rules for the first exam are simple, he stated. You have to take a written test. There are only 10 questions. You are given 9 questions on the paper. The final question will be revealed in the final hour. If you are caught cheating, you will be disqualified along with your team. If you don't get the 10th question right, you and your team will be disqualified. Everyone tensed up. If one of the kids on the teams messed up, the whole team would be disqualified. Ready. Begin. You have 2 hours until the final question. The teams started. Everyone did the one thing they could do, cheat. 1010 used nearly invisible strings to move mirrors to give the answers to her teammates. Shino used a bug to gather the information from others. Kiba's dog, Akamaru, looked at the answers of others and gave the answers to his master. Gaara made a third eye with his sand and copied answers. Ino used her mind transfer jutsu to steal Sakura's answers since she was smart. Sasuke just used his Sharingan to copy the pencil movements of another student. Naruto didn't need to use jutsu to cheat. Elion and Kyuubi gave him answers mentally. As he waited, he noticed Hinata was nervous. He knew what her family thought of her and that she was nervous she would get them disqualified. Naruto knew he had to help her. He decided to. He focused his chakra and summoned a small blue fox with an X-shaped scar on its forehead and 4 tails. I need you to go comfort the white-eyed girl for me, he mentally commanded, which was easy since he could communicate mentally with foxes thanks to Kyuubi. Her name is Hinata. Yes, master. The small fox went over to the nervous girl. She was pretty scared until she felt something soft and furry rub against her. She looked down to see a small fox snuggling against her stomach. My name is Ryu, it spoke, my master sent me here to comfort you. He wasn't very specific on how, but it looks like cuddling you is working. Hinata smiled. Even now he comforted her. Meanwhile Naruto was having a little talk with the fox and dragon. Hey, what was that thing with the black flame earlier? He asked. Elion answered, it seems that the colliding energies of my chakra and the fox's chakra formed a new energy. That black flame. He heard Kyuubi chuckle, looks like we got a new weapon, kiddo. As the hours rolled by, more and more teams were eliminated. The only left so far were the Konoha teams, a grass team, the Suna group, the sound team and 2 rain teams. Okay, yelled Ibiki, the final question shall be given, but you have another option. Everyone listened. You can ignore it, but if you do, you will be eliminated, but your team will continue. Those of you who want to back out now, raise your hand. No one did anything. The only person who raised his hand was Naruto. You want to back out? Yeah. Those who put themselves before the mission are scum, but those who will sacrifice his team for the mission are worse. That is what I live by. I can give up, but my team will go on. Everyone seemed to take Naruto's words to heart. Ibiki smirked. In that case, I'd like to say to everyone in this room, you pass. Everyone's jaws nearly hit the floor. What? Tamari yelled. The point of this exam was to see if you could gather information without getting caught. Getting information is an important part of the mission. But if you give the mission up just to save your own skin, you don't deserve to be alive. He took off his headband to reveal a large amount of scars and puncture wounds on his head. I learned that years ago. Good luck in the next part of the exam, you're gonna need it. At that moment something burst through the window. As the smoke cleared, it revealed Zabuza and a woman. She had purple hair tied up to where it looked like a pineapple. She had on an orange skirt, a brown trench coat with a fishnet shirt. All right, you maggots, she yelled. My name is Anko Mitarashi, this is Zabuza Momochi. We're the proctors for the second part of the exam. Zabuza just crossed his arms and gave everyone a death look that scared everyone except Naruto. All right, Zabuza growled, meet us tomorrow at noon for the second half at the training fields. With that they vanished. The next day, Naruto was a little nervous. It was a few hours till the second part of the Chunin exams and he had been called by Anbu to the tower for the first. As he entered, he saw Ibiki along with his father and a team of Anbu. What's up? He asked as he entered. We have a concern, Minato said. What? Your test? Ibiki stated, "You got every answer right and your tests for the academy show you didn't get most of the stuff. Care to explain?" Naruto just smile. "I've gotten a lot smarter over the past few weeks." Minato grinned while Ibiki looked confused. "Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna be late for the second part." Elion, he thought, "is there a way I can get there quickly?" "Yes. Focus my chakra into your back. You should be able to grow wings," answered the dragon. Naruto did that and silver chakra wings sprouted. They were in the shape of dragon wings and were 10 feet from tip to tip. Naruto rushed to the window and burst through it, flying off at full speed to meet the deadline. Ibiki growled, "I just got that fixed form Anko's and Zabuza's fiasco the other day." "Sir," one of the Anbu said, "that proves he's a demon. The fox must be getting control. Just give me the order and all." He didn't finish his sentence as Minato sent him crashing through a few walls and into the streets. "Idiots," he thought, "soon they will know who he is and what he can do." Minato grinned. He could see the faces of the villagers when they found out his true name, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. The other teams were at the entrance of a large forest. The place was blocked off by a wire fence and some of the other teams were getting restless. Naruto hadn't shown up, so Ino and Hinata were slightly nervous. Others, however, were getting impatient waiting for the blonde. Sasuke was grinning, thinking Naruto had chickened out. Kiba walked over to Hinata. "Looks like he isn't gonna show," he said smugly. "Just wait," she said, "he'll come." Kiba grinned. "Come on, Hinata. Stop playing hard to get. You know you want me." He put his arm around her waist and pulled her in close. In response, she brought her knee and hit him right where the sun don't shine. "I'm only saying this once," she growled, staring him in the eye, leaking killing intent. "I am Naruto's. I am not yours. I will never be yours. So go find some other girl to bother." Kiba finally got up and walked away, nursing his pride and hoping he wasn't sterile. Ino approached her teammate. "All right. Way to show that jerk who's boss," she yelled, causing Hinata to blush. "I just wanted to get the message across," she said in an embarrassed voice. "Not bad," said a familiar voice. The girls turned to see a smirking Sasuke. "I have to ask," he said, "why do you hang around that loser Naruto? He's a no-name loser. Why don't you leave him for a real man?" Ino scowled. "Naruto is more man than you'll ever be," she said in a clear, obviously annoyed tone, "and furthermore, you aren't a man. You are just a whiny, spoiled brat. You just expect anyone to give you what they want. They should, including you," he said, leering at her. "Hate to burst your bubble, but I'm engaged to Naruto too, along with the other girls you tried to kidnap and force to wed. So you can't have me." Sasuke scowled. "Then I'll take you." He reached out to grab her but was intercepted by a massive silver claw. The force of the blow sent him flying into a tree. Everyone looked at the source of the noise to see a dragon made of silver chakra. I threw back its head and roared in anger. Then it vanished, Naruto in its place. "So," he said nonchalantly, "what did I miss?" 10 minutes later. The team stood at separate gates of the forest. The Forest of Death, Anko called it. They had to get a scroll from another team under a time limit of 3 days. The hard part was that they didn't know what kind of scroll the other teams had, so you had to go on instinct and pray that you got lucky. Plus you had to deal with whatever the heck lived in this place, so good luck with that. As soon as the clock struck noon, Naruto, Ino and Hinata shot off into the woods. As did all of the other teams. Naruto and his team stopped a few feet in and started to plan. "So," Naruto stated, "what are we going to do? We need to find someone with a heaven scroll to go with our earth scroll." Ino stating the obvious, "Maybe we can find one of the other teams from the village because I don't want to fight someone from here." "Yeah," said Hinata, agreeing. At that moment there was a loud explosion. All three of them ran for it. They followed the sound to find Sasuke, Kiba, Shino, Sakura, Shikamaru and Choji going up against a grass nin. She was tall, pale and had long black hair. Sasuke was on the ground holding a spot on his neck where a strange mark was starting to grow. Naruto narrowed his eyes, but then he heard Kyuubi snarl. "That's him," growled the fox. "What's up, big guy?" Naruto asked. Kyuubi growled again. "Kid, do you know why I attacked the village? I lived on Earth for years until I came to my home to find my mate and my pups murdered. A leaf ninja headband was there, so I went there to get revenge. The headband smelled of snake, and so does this guy. That is no grass ninja, that is Orochimaru." As soon as Naruto heard that, his blood started to boil. He knew this guy was a traitor. He turned to Hinata and whistled. As soon as he did, Ryu crawled out of Hinata's jacket. Apparently Hinata didn't want the little fellow to leave. "Ryu, go get the cage and a lot of anbu," he ordered. Ryu nodded slightly and ran off. Kyuubi snarled again. "Kid, I want to get back at this guy for what he did to my family. You can set me free from the seal, but it will only last until that snake is dead. Drive my sword into the ground and say, Kyuubi awake from the dreamless sleep." Naruto smirked and ran forward into the fray before him. Orochimaru, still in his disguise, faced him. "Well, look what we have here. Drop the act, you snake-faced freak. I know who you are, Orochimaru." Orochimaru smirked slightly and in a poof of smoke took his real form. He was tall, pale, and had long black hair. He chuckled. "So you think you can beat me, little boy?" He licked his lips with an extra long tongue. Naruto chuckled this time. "Who said I would kick your butt?" He drew Kyuubi's sword and drove it into the ground, then he stepped back and said, "Kyuubi awake from the dreamless sleep." As soon as those words left his lips, the sword let out a burst of red chakra. It swirled around and then focused on point behind the sword. What is this power?" Orochimaru thought as the chakra burst. When the smoke cleared, it revealed a man. He was tall and muscular, covered head to toe in black armor. The helmet had two curved iron horns coming out of the sides like the devil. When his eyes opened, they glowed like burning embers. The human Kyuubi looked at Orochimaru and chuckled darkly, then he grabbed the sword by the hilt and raised it up and yelled, "I'm Bak." Meanwhile, Minato was having a discussion with the other clan heads at the Nara compound. They were discussing when Minato would reveal Naruto to be his son. Just as things were coming to a close, something shot through the window. All of them looked ready to fight when they saw it was just a blue four-tailed fox. Shikamaru's dad, don't know his name either, was about to say something when his wife showed up. "Honey, what's going?" she started to ask when she saw the fox. "Ah, so cute." She picked it and started crushing it in a killer hug. "Could you let go of me, please?" Ryu managed to get out. This made her scream and drop the little fellow. "It talks, how can it talk? That isn't possible, is it?" "Easy," Minato stated, trying to calm the woman down. "His name is Ryu. He's one of Naruto's summons." He turned to the small fox. "What's going on?" he asked. "We have a little problem." Meanwhile, Orochimaru could have sworn this was a nightmare. He was standing face to face with the Kyuubi himself. If it weren't for the fact that he was standing in front of kids, he would start shaking. "So you overgrown rattler," the demon growled, "you ready to die?" The snake chuckled, "You will be the one dying." With that said, Orochimaru lunged at Kyuubi. The demon blocked his punch and sent him flying with a kick to the stomach. Kyuubi laughed and raced after him, grabbing him by the throat and dragging him off to where they could fight in peace. "Whoa," was all Shikamaru could say. The rest of the guys, except Naruto, were in complete shock. "What just happened?" asked Sakura after the initial shock wore off. Naruto summoned a demonic-looking man with his sword and he just dragged the snake man off into the forest to fight him. Sakura stared at him and then at Naruto, who just shrugged. "You get used to it," was all Naruto said. Meanwhile, in another part of the forest, Orochimaru was thrown into a tree by Kyuubi. The snake couldn't believe it, he was actually scared. He grinned viciously. "That power. If I can absorb his body, I can truly become a god." Hunger for power at its finest, folks. Orochimaru reached into his mouth and pulled out the Nasangi. He charged at Kyuubi, who blocked it with his own sword. Kyuubi then jumped up and brought it down on the Nasangi. The result was the sword being split in two. Orochimaru knew he had to call them. To me sound ninja 5. As he finished those words 5 ninja showed up. A fat guy, a red-headed woman, a guy with 4 arms, a guy with a second body coming out of his back, and an albino guy with a dagger made of bone. Kyuubi grinned under his helmet. Now you're making it interesting. Back with the teams. Naruto was wondering what was taking Kyuubi so long. He was about to see if he could help him when he sensed a powerful energy surge. He and everyone else faced it to see Sasuke giving off purple chakra. As he got up they saw a strange marking all over his body. Sasuke looked at his hands and started to laugh. This power, he said, this power is what I've been looking for. I can finally kill him. He looked at Naruto. But first I want to get rid of a small pain in the butt. Sasuke charged at Naruto but missed him by a hair. Naruto drew Elion's sword and yelled out, "Dragon style, Dragon Claw." The sword burst into flames and Naruto sent them at Sasuke, who barely dodged the attack. They both charged at each other and ended up grappling. The two pushed, trying to get a leg up on the other when Sasuke suddenly backed off. He started clutching his head in pain and started to scream. The marks on his body started to vanish. What the? Naruto thought. A few minutes earlier with Kyuubi. Kyuubi was staring at the sound ninja that had him surrounded when all of a sudden the clan heads showed up. Orochimaru was shocked when he saw Minato among them since he thought he was dead. The clan heads fought off the sound ninja and managed to knock them out. Minato faced Orochimaru and Kyuubi leapt to his side. "It's been a while, you old fox." Minato stated. "Yes it has," Kyuubi said in a monotone voice. Orochimaru just snarled and tried to attack, but Kyuubi held out a hand. Demonic style. Chains of Oblivion. Chains shot out the ground and wrapped around Orochimaru's arms, legs, neck and torso. As soon they made contact he felt an incredible pain. Surprised, Kyuubi asked, "Those chains are pumping Yukai into your body. It's severing you chakra coils and destroying your body. Even you can't regenerate that much. Let's end this, Minato." Both warriors held out their hands and formed a single Rasengan. This one though was made of red chakra and was twice as big. They both crouched and shot forward and called out, "Demonic Rasengan." As the move made contact, Orochimaru screamed out in pain. After a few seconds there wasn't even ashes left of his body. As soon as he died the sound ninja started to scream. Minato examined they to see the curse marks on their necks vanishing. They also heard screaming from somewhere else. They followed the noise to see the kids with Sasuke, who was on his knees. Minato could just barely make out a fading curse mark. Sasuke growled as he saw Kyuubi and Minato. "My power. Give me back my power." He charged only to meet a backhand by Minato into a tree. After everyone was checked for injuries, Ino had to ask, "So now what?" Minato answered, "Well, seeing what you've been through, I'd say that you passed the second part of the exam." Everyone grinned and looked happy about it except Sasuke, who was unconscious, and Sakura, who was mad. "Aren't you going to punish him?" Sakura asked, pointing at Kyuubi. "Why should I?" asked the Kage. He hurt Sasuke, he should be. She didn't finish her sentence because she was sent flying by a kick from Naruto. Kyuubi just laughed, then he turned to chakra and flew back into the seal on Naruto. As everyone headed to the tower, Hinata pulled Naruto to the side. "When we get to the tower," she whispered, "you are going to explain this to me and the rest of your future wives." With that said, she left with Naruto following her, grinning. After the teams made their way into the tower, they felt a little relieved. They wouldn't have to worry about being killed and they had some time to relax a bit. After an hour of relaxing, everyone who saw the incident pulled Naruto aside. With them were their senseis who had been informed of what had happened in the forest. "So Naruto," Hinata said, her arms crossed, "what was that in the forest earlier?" The others looked at him with curiosity, especially Sasuke and Sakura. Naruto pointed at Sakura, Sasuke and Kiba. "You three. Out. This is for people I trust alone." he ordered. Sasuke smirked. I'm an Uchiha. I deserve to know what that power was. Besides, any secret you have can be of use to me. Sakura and Kiba stayed put until Minato picked them up by the collars and threw them out of the room. Naruto faced his friends. It started on the day I was born, he started. Everyone listened intently. The same day I was born was the day that the Kyuubi attacked. Everyone gasps. As it turns out, he wasn't attacking his spite, he was trying to avenge its wife and pups when he found them killed in his home. You were told that the Kyuubi was destroyed by the fourth, right? Everyone nodded. This isn't the truth. They all stared at Naruto. The demon was in fact sealed inside of a newborn baby. Hinata looked nervous. Who was it? She asked. Me. Everyone looked as if they were watching a horror movie. Why would the fourth do that? Shikamaru said after a few moments of stunned silence. That was a mistake on my part, said the Hokage, grief in his voice. I actually expected the village to treat him like a hero for keeping the demon at bay. Tears actually started to form on his face. What did they do? To answer them, Naruto lifted up his shirt. Everyone gasped at the sight of the scars and wounds that covered his body. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. Even Shino had tears running down his face. How? Shikamaru asked with tears running down his face. How can they still call themselves human? Hinata was on the ground bawling. Naruto picked her up in his arms and held her until she stopped crying. By the way, Naruto, Hinata asked, how did you get that silver chakra? Naruto actually smiled at that. I think you should talk to the one that gave me that power. He drew Elion's sword and drove it into the floor, Elion awake from the dreamless sleep. As soon as those words were uttered, the sword exploded in silver chakra. It swirled and flashed until it focused and formed a figure. A man stood in completely silver armor with a gold trim. His helmet was like Kyuubi's, only his didn't have horns and his eyes were a shining gold. Guys, Naruto said, this is Elion, King of the Dragons. Elion gave a deep bow. For those of you who want to know, I am the reason behind had gold and silver chakra. Everyone listened. My eyes have seen a great deal of things, including how Naruto was treated over his life. When he didn't turn his back on his village, I knew I found someone to take my power. Only one pure of heart can take it. When I found Naruto's body in the river after the betrayal, I picked him from the river and carried him to my cave. His wound had healed thanks to Kyuubi, but if he had taken his power alone, he could have been corrupted, so I gave him some of my power as a deal we made. He gets Kyuubi's strength and he doesn't become corrupt. Everyone was shell-shocked at this news, but Hinata had a question. Why didn't you give him your power earlier? Elion chuckled slightly. How would it look if a dragon came down and gave his power to the alleged demon of a village? Hinata nodded, understanding. Now that we have an understanding, I would like to have a word with Naruto in private. So would Kyuubi. Everyone got the message and filed out. As they left, Sasuke and Sakura stared in awe at Elion. Sasuke was about to go in and order something to Elion if Guy hadn't dragged him. Naruto took out Kyuubi's sword and brought him out. So what is it you guys wanted to talk about? He asked. Elion had a serious look in his golden eyes. Naruto, when you accepted our power, you got more than you thought. Naruto looked at his ally. When you accepted our power, you also got a dojutsu from us both. Naruto's eyes went wide. I got a what from both of you? He asked, yelled. Calm yourself, Kit. Kyuubi said, trying to calm the kid down. After a few minutes, Naruto was calm enough to ask something. So what are they and what can they do? Both Elion and Kyuubi grinned. Well, Kyuubi started, mine is the kitsune eye. Your eye will turn red like it does when you're angry, but this is more of a flame red and it will change shades like a lava lamp and the pupil will be orange. With it you can cast a powerful genjutsu. This kind can lead to the death of a person if the jutsu is strong enough. Naruto had to admit he was impressed. So what is yours? He asked Elion. Mine, he responded, as the dragon eye. Your iris will turn a bright green with a silver slit pupil and the whites will turn gold. You will also have 3 stars in the iris, also silver. This dojutsu will allow you to copy any move you see from ninjutsu to taijutsu to kekkei genkai. Naruto was in disbelief powerful genjutsus and the ability to copy any technique. Man, this was just getting better and better. Now I suggest you get going, your friends are waiting. Elion said, smiling. The two turned back to chakra and flew back to Naruto. After they merged, Naruto took off toward his friends. As soon as Naruto arrived, things got underway. Before they started, they found out someone had to quit. In the end, Kabuto did. All right, said the Hokage. Naruto noticed he was with the proctors for the first two exams and all the senseis. Since so many of you have passed the second part of the exam, we will have to have some preliminary rounds before the final part. You will be randomly selected from the computer and your names will be put up on the screen. Those not fighting will be up in the banister to avoid being hurt. After he finished speaking, the computer started selecting names. The first was Sakura Haruno vs. Ino Yamanaka. Zabuza went down into the arena and called the two down. The two girls entered the ring and Sakura started mouthing off. Just give up, Ino pig. Sasuke is mine. Ino chuckled. You want him? You can have him. Sakura's jaw along with the jaws of her former teammates and sensei hit the floor. What? Sakura asked. Ino chuckled again. I've found someone who is actually worth going after. Sasuke is just a spoiled punk who thinks he deserves everything he's been given. He's just a major weakling. Sakura got angry that her love was just insulted. She charged and threw a punch before Zabuza started the match, which of course disqualified her. To her surprise, Ino caught it and with the slightest of strength threw her across the room, forming a crater in the opposite wall. Gain, Asuma, and Kurenai looked at Kushina. What? She asked. All that was his basic chakra control. They stared at Ino, who had a victorious smile on her face. Winner. Ino Yamanaka. Zabuza stated. The next set of names were Sasuke's and Rain ninjas. When the two started fighting, Sasuke found out he could drain chakra by touching him. Sasuke actually managed to get the upper hand and used a powerful taijutsu move. Naruto swore he heard Lee growl. What's up, bushy brow? He asked. That, Lee said, is my taijutsu move. Naruto looked at Sasuke, who now stood over his defeated opponent. The next match was 10-10 against Temari. 10-10 lost because of Temari's wind attacks and ended up getting brought down onto Temari's iron fan. Shikamaru went against Kin from the Sound Village. He won since he tricked her with his shadow possession jutsu and caused her to slam her own head into the wall. Shino had the pleasure of fighting Zaku. Zaku lost because Shino had plugged up these vents in his arms that let him fire sonic waves. In the process, they also destroyed his arms. Kankuro went against a rain ninja who could dislocate his joints to make himself incredibly flexible. He cracked Kankuro's neck, but the one he cracked was a puppet. The real Kankuro was in the sack on his back. In the end, the rain ninja had his neck broken. Then came the moment Naruto had been waiting for. It was his turn to fight and his opponent was Kiba. Ha ha ha. All right, Kiba yelled. Finally I can show everyone how weak he is. Let's go, Akamaru. He turned to his partner to see he was cowering. What's wrong, boy? Bark, bark, yip, there's something strange about him. Bark, yip, whimper, what do you mean? You don't want to fight? Naruto, who was in the ring already, yelled up, you coming down, dog breath. Kiba yelled back while trying to pry Akamaru off a bar that he was clinging to with his teeth, yeah, in a minute. 5 minutes and a few failed attempts later. Kiba had finally gotten into the ring, but he didn't have Akamaru. The dog was sitting in the banister with his team. Sorry, someone didn't want to come down. He glared at his partner. You two ready? Zabuza asked. They both nodded. Begin. Kiba charged forward, his nails sharpened using his family's fighting style. Naruto just dodged it lazily. After a few misses, Kiba was starting to get annoyed. Stop running and fight like a man. He roared. Naruto just smirked, annoying Kiba even more. Naruto caught Kiba's claw and then the other one. What are you trying to prove? Naruto asked. Kiba grunted as he tried to wrestle out of Naruto's grip. I'm trying to prove that you're just a weakling. Hinata deserves better than you. She's mine and I plan on making her mine. Bad choice of words. Everyone in the room was glaring at Kiba, especially the girls. They were disgusted that he thought he of all people deserved her. Kiba suddenly had trouble breathing. Then he realized that Naruto was leaking killing intent on him. What did you say? Naruto growled in a demonic voice. He punched Kiba in the face. I thought Hinata made it clear earlier. She will never be yours. Between each word, Naruto slammed a powerful fist into Kiba's chest. After Naruto calmed down, he looked down at Kiba's wounded form. Give up, Kiba. Kiba just laughed despite the pain he was in. Ha, you just don't want me to get up and beat you. Naruto hung his head at the foolishness this kid showed. Fine then, Naruto said and leapt backwards and went through hand signs and extended his arms, his hands open. Silver, red and gold chakra started to mix together, forming a black orb in Naruto's opened hands. Black fire style. Chakra cannon. The blast shot forward and hit Kiba dead on. You could hear Kiba's screams of pain. The blast went straight through the wall. When the smoke cleared, everyone saw that Kiba was still alive, but had a lot of broken bones. Winner. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto smirked and climbed up to the banister. He noticed the senseis were looking at him nervously and kids questioningly. The black chakra is from all the other chakra mixing together, he said simply. Everyone just shrugged. Meanwhile, Hinata went down to give Kiba, who had regained consciousness, some healing medicine. As she left, he grabbed Hinata's arm. Hinata, he groaned, if you go against that other sand ninja or your cousin drop out. Hinata just looked at him. I am not the weak little girl I once was, she said and turned away. As she did, Kiba tried to pull her down to kiss her, but she caught herself and gave him another Jukin strike to the crotch. As she left, she growled, he just never learns. Kurenai noticed this and so did Naruto. Both made a mental note to tell him mom. Whoa boy, was he gonna be in trouble. The next match was between Rock Lee and Gaara. The match started off with Lee attacking but getting blocked by Gaara's sand. After a little bit, Lee took off weights he had on his legs. He moved all the faster and managed to get past Gaara's sand, but when he tried a move called the primary lotus, Gaara switched with a sand clone and avoided getting crushed. Lee started opening the chakra gates, parts of the body that hold great amounts of chakra. When he did, he had green aura and his skin turned red. He was a blur to all who watched, but he couldn't keep it up. Eventually he became exhausted, especially when he used the hidden lotus, an advanced form of the primary lotus. Gaara survived it and using his sand crushed Lee's arm and leg. He would have been killed if Guy hadn't gotten in the way and saved him. Gaara won by default, and from the looks on everyone's faces, they were scared, especially his sensei, brother and sister. The next match was between Hinata and Neji. They both used the Jukin style, but Neji seemed to get more hits in. Soon enough, Hinata was coughing up blood. Naruto growled loudly enough for everyone in the banister to hear him. Some of the girls actually seemed jealous. With Hinata, she could barely stand. She was scared but still stood up. Why do you get back up? Asked a voice in her head. It was soft and warm like a mother speaking to her child. Why don't you just give up? Hinata groaned as she rose up. I will prove myself to him. I will show him that I am not weak, that I deserve his love. The voice fell silent, then she heard it laugh. I like you, kid. Now let's show him what we can do. The next thing everyone knew, there was a flash of bright blue chakra from Hinata. When it faded, no one saw a change in Hinata until she opened her eyes. Her Byakugan, instead of its regular white, was now a light blue. She took out a scroll from her pocket, bit her thumb and ran it over the scroll. In a puff of smoke, she took out a silver lance. Neji didn't see this as a problem. He thought she didn't have any experience with it and that the chakra and her Byakugan change was an illusion. He rushed forward, intent on killing her, but in a flash she hit in the stomach with a Jukin strike and drew back her lance, which grew a slight blue and said, Angel Strike. When the move made contact, instead of piercing Neji's gut, it slammed into his stomach, sending him flying across the room. When the smoke cleared, it showed he was unconscious, hurt but unconscious. Everyone was staring at her. What are you teaching her? Kurenai asked Kushina. I taught her to use the lance. I didn't modify her Kakei Genkai. Kushina responded. Naruto chuckled. It's called the Angel Byakugan. He said simply. Everyone stared at him. Elion told me. He said that it is an ancient version of the Byakugan that has its own jutsu that goes with it, and it's at least 5 times more powerful than the original. Everyone was shocked at the power Hinata held. Naruto, however, was worried. Knowing the Hyuga Council, they were going to try to make her give up those eyes. In the arena, a medical team had arrived to take Neji away, but Hinata stopped them. Neji looked at her, one of his eyes shut in pain. Are you going to kill me? He asked. Hinata didn't reply and removed his headband. This showed a green X and markings on his forehead. It was the caged bird seal. The seal, the main branch of the Hyuga, used to control the minor branch. She placed her hand on it and blue chakra flowed through Neji's forehead. Then the seal vanished. As it did, Neji felt a burden lifted off his shoulders. As Hinata turned to leave, Neji called out. Hinata. She turned to face him. Thank you. He said, a smile on his face. She smiled back. The final match was between Dosu and Choji. Dosu called Choji fat, which was a bad idea on his part. Choji used the expansion jutsu to grow to a large size. Then he tucked his head, arms and legs in and rolled forward using the human boulder jutsu. Dosu dodged it easily and Choji crashed into a wall. While he was stuck, Dosu rolled up a long sleeve to reveal a device on his arm. He placed his arm on Choji and flicked it. The result was a sound wave that knocked him out. After Dosu was declared the winner, the fights for the final part of the exams were shown and are as follows. Naruto vs. Dosu. Shino vs. Kankuro. Temari vs. Shikamaru. Gaara vs. Sasuke. Hinata vs. winner of first match. Naruto eyes bugged out. If he won his match, he would have to fight his love. This stinks, he thought. All right, does everyone remember who you're fighting? Minato asked. Good. Now you have 1 month to prepare for the final part of the exam. Everyone started to head for the door when Minato stopped Naruto. I want to talk to you about something, he said and pulled Naruto off to the side. Naruto was wondering what his dad wanted to talk about. Whatever it was, he hoped it was good. As the teams left, Naruto stood in front of his father. What's up, big man? He asked. Minato looked at his son seriously. Naruto, he said, I think I should let you know that I'll be telling the village who you are come the final part of the exam. I know that some of them will deny it, but they will realize their impudence. Naruto nodded, understanding that it was time for the village to know the real him, his real name. Thanks for letting me know, Pops. No, I have to go find Hinata and then start training for the finals. Naruto started to leave when he heard his father say, I thought you would say that. Naruto faced his dad. I know someone who can. He'll be at a waterfall on the other side of the village. Be there tomorrow at noon. Naruto nodded and took off. Minato grinned as his son left. Oh, is he in for a surprise? He thought to himself. Later, Naruto was walking through the streets of Konoha, ignoring the angry glares at him when he suddenly felt a powerful chakra surge coming from the Hyuga complex. He mentally sighed, yeah, that figures. Naruto took off like a shot toward the complex, knowing full ahead what awaited him. When Naruto arrived at the Hyuga complex, he saw Hinata, her angel Byakugan, blazing, surrounded by main and lower branch Hyuga members alike along with the Hyuga Council. He figured that the lower branch were being controlled by the caged bird seal. After Hinata had released Neji from it, he asked Elion about it. To say he was mad when he found out how they treated the lower branch was an understatement. That was when he noticed 2 things. 1, Hiashi wasn't there. That was probably how the Hyuga Council was getting away with this. The second thing that was strange was Hinata's appearance. She had a rare look of rage on her face and she had blue chakra wings on her back. Naruto knew from what Elion told him that only happened when a wielder of the Angel Byakugan was angry or called on their real power. Naruto quickly intervened and knocked away the branch members. What is the meaning of this? Naruto growled. A Hyuga council member answered him. This does not concern you, demon. Naruto glared at him. If it involves my Hime, it becomes my business. The Hyuga members were about to attack when Hinata sent out a wave of chakra. Then to the surprise of the main branch, the lower branch turned on them. What's going on? Asked one of the council members. I released them from the caged bird seal. Hinata answered, a grin on her face. The council member growled, then you have betrayed your clan. Then a new voice said, no she hasn't. Everyone turned toward the voice to see Minato with Hiashi. An old councilman smiled, good you're here Hiashi. Now carve out your daughter's eyes so we can give them to someone worthy. Hiashi walked up to the man and backhanded him in the face. At that moment Anbu showed up. Minato faced the Hyuga Council. Hyuga Council, you are hereby under arrest for attacking a leaf ninja and for conspiring against the village. The Hyuga Council looked shocked. But we did no such thing, said council member nervously. Minato took out a contract and handed it to Hiashi, who read it. As he did, he grew angry. This is a document stating that the Kumo ninja were allowed to take Hinata. You were going to let them take my daughter to their village to give them the Byakugan. A councilman looked at Hiashi. That is the only use your daughter will ever have. She is weak, useless, and a demon whore. As soon as that word left his mouth, Naruto drove a sword through his heart. Minato looked at his son and then at the Anbu. Take these traitors to the prison in chakra cuffs and tell Ibiki and Anko that they are allowed to play with them. As the Hyuga Council was taken away, Hinata returned to her normal state and hugged Naruto tight. So what was that about me being your Hime? Naruto blushed slightly. Well Hinata didn't let Naruto finish. She leaned in and kissed him right on the lips. Naruto wrapped his arms around her waist and kissed her back. A slight cough broke them apart. Minato was grinning at his son. You can suck face later, you two. Right now I think Hinata needs to work on her Angel Byakugan techniques. Hiashi nodded and presented a scroll with angel written in kanji. Well, at least we don't have to worry about those pains in the neck, Naruto said, smiling. Yeah, Hinata said, but we still have to deal with the mongrel. Naruto grinned again and took her into his arms. Don't worry about that, I think he'll learn his lesson. Hinata looked at Naruto curiously. I went to his mom with a file in the Hokage's office. Meanwhile with Kiba. Kiba had just entered the Inuzuka complex when he was seized. He was about to call out when he realized that he was being attacked by his own clansmen. He was brutally dragged to a chamber where his mother and sister were waiting. What the heck is going on? Kiba asked, a scowl on his face. Sume just walked right up to him and slapped him across the face. You little runt, she growled. Kiba was wondering what she was so mad about, and then he noticed the file in her hand. Oh no, he thought. Sume lifted him up by the collar of his jacket. I can't believe that I ever considered you for clan heir. I thought you were better than this. She dropped him on his butt. Come on, Mom, he said, scared. I was just trying to ensure that Hinata would be my woman. Hana got in his face this time. By trying to force yourself on her. Kiba actually grinned. Yeah. The only way to ensure dominance is to make it clear that you call the shots. This got him a punch in the face from Hana. Sume lifted him up again. You don't just rape women, Kiba. Women have thoughts and feeling too, you know. Kiba actually laughed when his mother said this. You kidding, right? All women are good for is cooking, cleaning, and for a month's entertainment. And when a man is done with her, he can just throw her away. Apparently Kiba forgot this was his mother and sister he was talking to. His claim got a low growl from both his mom and sister along with a few others. It was then that Kiba looked around and saw that the ones who captured him were the female members of the clan. It was then that he realized that he was in deep crud. Sume snarled at her so-called child. And you think that you deserve Hinata? She asked, anger still present in her voice. Yeah, Naruto probably only wants her for her money. Plus he is just a no-name baka who has the Hokage's favor. She deserves better than him. Sume raised an eyebrow, and by better you mean you? She asked. Kiba just nodded. She does. He's just some loser. Hana grinned. Maybe, but at least he knows how to treat a woman. Kiba looked at his sister incredulously. How would you know that? He asked. Hana smiled again. I'm going to marry him and so are Hinata, Ten, Ino, and Hanabi. Kiba's jaw practically hit the floor. What? He yelled. You heard her, Sume said with a smirk on her face. She's marrying Naruto along with a bunch of the other girls. Kiba was shocked. That Dobi was going to get a harem. Had Kami forsaken him? Sume looked at her son. Now onto your punishment. Kiba paled. He knew his mom was very strict and vicious when it came to punishments. Especially when they were considered perverted. He heard that some guy had peeped on her and Hana way they were in the shower. They say that he lost all his teeth and they had ended his life as a person and as a man. Kiba shivered in fear. For punishment for trying to steal another man's woman you will be beaten for 15 hours. And as punishment for multiple rape attempts you are hereby dropped as clan heir and are now banished from the pack. Kiba looked at his mother horrified as she took out a piece of metal and heated it. Kiba looked around until he saw Akamaru. Akamaru, help me please. He called out. The dog just stood there, then he turned and left the room. Why didn't he help me? Kiba asked his mom who had just finished heating the metal. He has denounced you as his master and combat partner. She explained, I guess he just got sick of your attitude. She lifted Kiba into the light and brought the metal to his face. As part of the banishment from the clan he would have the marks on his cheeks burned off. Mom, please don't do this, Kiba whimpered, hoping to get a little mercy out of his mother. Sume looked him in the eyes. You are not my son. She pressed the hot metal to Kiba's face. Kiba almost immediately screamed in pain. After his marks were burned she threw him to the ground and the members dragged him out. All the while Kiba was wondering how his life had gone so wrong, then he realized that Naruto was to blame for this. If he got through this he would kill the blonde. Meanwhile, Naruto was being led through the Namikaze complex by his father and mother. They walked down to the Namikaze library where there were all sorts of scrolls of many sizes. Minato turned to his son. Naruto, he began, I know that you are going to train hard for the final part of the Chunin exams. Naruto nodded at his dad. Well, for this part you'll have to keep your enemy guessing, so I'm going to find out your elemental affinity. He handed Naruto a scroll. When you touch this scroll it will show us your affinity. When Naruto touched it all of their eyes nearly popped out of their heads. A portion of the scroll turned wet, another burst into flame, one became electrified, another seemed to turn to wind, another shone brightly and another went black as pitch. What the heck? Naruto asked. Kushina smiled brightly, it seems he has it too. Minato nodded. Kushina turned to her son. You have the elemental rose. It's an ability few Uzumaki have. It allows them to control all of the elements, she explained. Naruto grinned at that. It seemed like every day he grew stronger. Now son, Minato said, I want you to study all of the elemental just you can find in this library. That will give your first opponent a bit of a surprise when you fight them. Naruto nodded at his dad and set to work. He decided that now of all times was probably a good one to try out the Dragon Eyes copying ability. He activated it and was shocked to see the way to perform the jutsu was played out before his eyes like a video. Then it was easily put into his memory. Naruto studied all kind of jutsu from all of kinds of elemental styles. He couldn't wait until he could get the chance to use some of them. Sasuke was going to be so mad when he found out Naruto could do a bunch of techniques that he couldn't. It took a few hours, but Naruto had learned a vast array of techniques in his arsenal. Also after a few hours he had fell asleep. As Naruto slept, he didn't feel the presence of another person in the library. He didn't hear them sneak up on him or when the figure stood behind him. The figure raised a kunai knife and then brought it down on Naruto's skull. At the last second, a second kunai flew out and smacked the one out the assailant's hand. The man wore a dog mask over his face and had something over his head to hide his hair. They followed the direction of the thrown kunai to see Minato standing in the door. Minato scowled and charged at the assailant and tackled him, sending him through the wall of the building. The sound of that woke Naruto up straight away. Naruto ran through the newly formed hole to see his dad fighting off some guy in a mask. Minato was easily holding his own, but the intruder got the drop on him and hit him with a smoke bomb. The man tried to run but ran right into Kushina, who kicked him in the place where the sun don't shine. While the man was doubled over in pain, Minato came through the smoke and lifted the guy off the ground and slammed his skull into the floor. Naruto chose that moment to show up and went through hand signs, wind style, air prison. The wind seemed to flow towards the man and then trapped him in a tornado. Minato crossed his arms. "Good work, my boy," he said, praising his son. "Now let's find out who this is." Minato reached for the mask and ripped it off, revealing a face that shocked him. Kakashi. Kakashi looked at his former sensei and then at Naruto. Contempt was obvious in his one-seen eye. "Why?" Minato asked. "I thought you didn't have any contempt toward him." Kakashi just shook his head. "That boy should have died a long time ago," Kakashi said coldly. "I probably should have checked the river to make sure he was dead." Minato glared at Kakashi. "You told me you were paid by a member of the council." Kakashi shook his head. "I lied. I did it on my own accord. I did it because he took you away from me, sensei. I was the only son you ever needed." Minato's eyes narrowed as Kakashi continued. "When you came back, I was overjoyed because you were alive and that Naruto hadn't taken you away. But he still must die." Minato raised an eyebrow. "Why is that?" Kakashi looked his sensei in the eye. "He has been keeping Sasuke from reaching his full potential. When we first started teams, he always held the team back, and now he has a power that rightfully belongs to the Uchiha. I've seen what he can do. He has grown too powerful. How long before he turns that power against us? How long? That is why we must kill him. You can redeem yourself and slay him." Minato looked at Kakashi, then at Naruto, and nodded. The air prison vanished and Minato lifted Kakashi up and looked him in the eye. "I will tell you this once, Kakashi. Stay away from my son," he said threateningly. Kakashi looked at Minato as if he was insane. "The demon has fooled you, sensei. That thing is not your son. There is no way he can be." Crash. Minato had had enough of this and slammed his foot into Kakashi's chest. At that moment Anbu had arrived. "Anbu," Minato ordered, "take this filth away. He is to have his chakra sealed and to have any knowledge of jutsu wiped from his memory. Then take him to Ibiki. It's time he knew the error of what he has done." As Kakashi was dragged away, he yelled, "You're making a mistake. That thing deserves to die. If I don't do it, then Sasuke will. I've taught him everything I know. You won't stand a chance against him." Those were his final words as he was dragged away. Minato shook his head in disgrace. "I can't believe he was ever my student," he thought aloud. He turned to Naruto. "Son, I suggest you get some sleep. You have to meet your trainer tomorrow." Naruto yawned, then nodded at his father. "Night mom, night dad," he said as he walked up to bed. Later in the master bedroom, Minato sat in his bed staring at the wall, a look of anger on his face. "Honey," he heard his wife ask. Minato sighed. "I'm sorry, sweetie, I just can't believe it. I forgave him for trying to kill my son, and so did he, and in return he tries to kill him again." Kushina wrapped her arms around her husband. "I know," she said, sorrow in her voice, "but at least we know that he will be safe here and that Kakashi will get his punishment." Minato smiled. Kushina always knew how to cheer him up. He took his wife into his arms. "You always did know how to cheer me up." The two kissed, then they laid down to sleep. The following morning, Naruto woke up to the smell of cooking food. He ran down from his room and found his mother cooking breakfast. Naruto sat down and ate like nuts. After a few hours he set out for the spot in the forest his dad had told him. He found the waterfall in the middle of the woods to the east of the training field. He was waiting around for him when he felt a hand on his shoulder. He turned around to see his dad standing behind him. "Oh hey Pop. What's up?" Minato smiled. "I came to see you for your training," he said. Naruto grinned at his old man. "Well, I can't wait to meet this guy. I hope he can help me get strong." Minato grinned. "Naruto," he said looking at his son, "I'm going to train you." Naruto stared at his father like he was nuts. "What?